Whatever the mind of man can conceive and believe, it can achieve. Napoleon Hill, Think and Grow Rich. What if I told you that everything you've ever wanted, the wealth, the power, the peace, the purpose, is already yours, but it's locked behind one door? And the key? It's not talent, not luck, not even hard work. It's decision. Not the kind you whisper when no one's listening. Not the kind you scribble in a notebook then forget by next week. No, I'm talking about the kind of decision that reshapes your soul. The kind that burns the bridge behind you. The kind that makes retreat impossible. When you make that kind of decision, real, unwavering, bone deep, you become unstoppable. Because the world doesn't move for the talented. It moves for the decided. Every great soul you admire, from Lincoln to Carnegie, Ford to Disney, they didn't start with confidence. They started with chaos. They were doubted, mocked, bankrupt. But inside, they'd already made the one decision that most people fear to death. They would not quit, no matter what. See, the world breaks the ones who hesitate. It waits for you to flinch. It listens for weakness. And when it hears it, it crushes you. Not because it's cruel, but because it's honest. The world doesn't give you what you want. It reflects what you are. If you're uncertain, it gives you confusion. If you're hesitant, it gives you delay. But if you're all in, it bends. It bows. It builds the path as you walk. Let me tell you something about belief. Belief isn't an idea. It's a fire. And you either feed it or you smother it. Most people think belief comes after the results. But the greats knew belief comes first. You believe, then you act, then the world follows. Henry Ford didn't wait for someone to hand him a blueprint. He believed in a world where every man could drive. While others laughed, he built. While they debated, he delivered. And every failure became part of the plan. Because belief made it so. That's the thing no one tells you about belief. It changes what failure means. To the average man, failure is proof he was wrong. To the decided man, it's proof he's getting closer. Now listen carefully, because this is where most people lose the war. They have a spark, but not a vision. They want more, but they've never taken the time to see it in color, in detail, in certainty. They hope, but they don't see. And what you cannot see, you cannot build. Walt Disney didn't hope. He didn't daydream. He saw. When he stared at a swamp in Florida, people thought he'd gone mad. But in his mind, it was already alive. Laughter in the streets, music in the air, children from every nation in wonder. And because he saw it, he built it. Your mind is the blueprint room of your future. And if it's cluttered with fear, doubt, distractions, then what you build will collapse before it rises. So stop, turn everything off, and ask, what am I building? Because if you don't know, then the world will build it for you, and it will be small. Let's go deeper. Vision is only the beginning. Once you've seen it, you must become worthy of it. This is where discipline enters. Not the kind they teach in school, forced obedience, fear of punishment. I'm talking about self-respect in motion. Discipline is how you tell your future self, I will not betray you. I will not cheat you. I will not leave you stranded. Because here's a hard truth. Every day you delay the work, every time you choose comfort over commitment, every time you break your own word, you're telling the highest version of you, I don't believe in you. But when you rise early, when you train when it hurts, when you say no to the party and yes to your purpose, you're building something sacred. Proof. Proof that your vision is not just a fantasy. Proof that your word is law. Proof that your future self can trust you. And once that trust is earned, nothing can stop you. Most people never get there. They drift. Not because they're weak, but because they're unclear. They think motivation is a lightning bolt. It's not. It's a muscle. And it's built every time you do the thing you said you would do, especially when you don't feel like it. Let me tell you something raw and real. There will come a morning when nothing inside you wants to rise. No applause, no reward, no instant feedback. And it's in that moment that destiny is written. That's where the unstoppable are born. Not when it's easy, but when the soul says, I rise anyway. The moment you say, I rise anyway, you become something different. You're no longer just chasing a dream. You are becoming the kind of person who can't be broken. And that's what the world responds to. Not noise, not hype, conviction. Because conviction is louder than words. It walks into the room before you do. It doesn't need applause because it already knows the outcome. Look at the giants of history. Lincoln stood alone, hated by half a nation. He didn't crumble. He carried the weight. Edison failed over 1,000 times trying to create the light bulb. But he said, "I have not failed. I've just found 10,000 ways that won't work." That's not just optimism. That's a man who made a decision. Crane. And when you decide, really decide, you stop negotiating with life. You stop waiting for permission. You stop hoping someone will choose you. You choose yourself. You choose your mission. You choose your mountain. And you climb. Every day, every storm, every setback. Because you've already decided there is no other path. And the universe? It respects that kind of fire. It starts to move things, shift things, bend reality, because the universe cannot resist the will of someone who has already burned their plan B. Now, let's talk about pain. Because it will come. Not once, not twice, but often. The storms will hit, the doubts will scream, the world will ask, "Are you sure?" And that's when most people fold. They call it fate, they call it bad luck, they shrink into silence. But not you. Not now. Because now you know, pain is proof. It proves that you're alive. It proves that you're in motion. It proves that you're not faking it. The moment it hurts is the moment it's working. No diamond was ever formed in comfort. No sword was ever forged without fire. So stop fearing the pain. Welcome it. Let it shape you, sharpen you, harden you into something the average man will never understand. But don't stop at resilience. Don't just survive the storm. Learn from it. Adapt. Evolve. See, the truly unstoppable aren't just tough. They're wise. They don't repeat mistakes. They turn them into power. They turn wounds into wisdom. They become dangerous not because of what they've avoided, but because of what they've overcome. Success isn't found in avoiding failure. It's found in building through it. Carnegie knew this. So did Rockefeller. They studied every loss. They extracted lessons from every pain. And because of that, they moved faster, thought clearer, hit harder. That's what growth is. Not more tools, not more hacks, more self-awareness. The ability to look in the mirror and say, "This was on me, but it won't be again." And from that growth comes something sacred. Clarity. Clarity is power. Not flashy, not loud, but lethal. It cuts through excuses, it slices through noise. It tells you exactly where to go and what to ignore. Most people live in fog. They chase trends, opinions, likes, and followers. But the unstoppable? They know. They know who they are. They know why they're here, and they know what they must do. That kind of clarity, that kind of certainty, it doesn't come from books. It comes from the fire, from showing up, from failing, from doing the hard thing until it becomes the natural thing. And when you walk in clarity, people notice. Not because you told them, but because they can feel it. That feeling, that presence, is what we call power. Not the kind they chase in politics or fame. The real kind. The power of self-possession. When you walk into a room with a quiet mind, when your spirit doesn't flinch in front of pressure, when your confidence doesn't come from arrogance but from alignment, you are unshakable. And make no mistake, the world needs that now. Not more noise, not more content, but leaders. People who have walked through their own fire and emerged with light in their eyes. Be that, not someday, now, today. Because your life doesn't wait for ready, it waits for real. And when you step into real, something shifts. You're no longer the person reacting to life, you become the one creating it. Most people live as echoes. They reflect the opinions of others. They respond to the fear around them. They carry the beliefs of their childhood, never questioning, never breaking free. But not you. Because you know now, the one thing that makes you unstoppable is this: you decide. Not once, not for show, not because it sounds good on a vision board, but because something inside you finally said, "This is who I am, this is where I'm going, this is what I will become." That decision, it changes your biology, it alters your energy, it sharpens your focus, it burns away distraction. You stop waiting for motivation, you stop praying for the perfect timing. You become the spark. The person who walks into the gym when they don't feel like it. The person who builds the business when no one claps. The person who keeps the promise even when no one's watching. Discipline becomes your religion. Action becomes your language. And results become your response. Because now the decision has been made, and decisions like that are louder than noise, stronger than fear, and more permanent than failure. This is the secret no one tells you. The world bends for the decided. It tests you first. It pushes back. It asks, how bad do you want it? But once you prove you won't fold, doors open, people show up, opportunities align, because you stopped hoping and started declaring. You stepped out of the crowd and became a force. Not perfect, not fearless, but unbreakable. Because deep down, you finally did that one thing that turns mortals into legends. You committed. So now what? Now that you've heard this truth, what do? You decide. You wake up tomorrow and you choose your mountain again. You show up when it's hard. You push when it's heavy. You lead when it's lonely. And you rise. Not because it's easy, but because it's yours, your mission, your vision, your legacy. Because the clock is ticking, and the world won't wait for you to feel ready. It's not looking for perfect, it's looking for real. And that is what makes you unstoppable. So when your doubts whisper, maybe you're not enough, let your decision scream back, watch me. When the pain says, quit now, no one will blame you, let your discipline say, I don't need permission. And when the world asks, who do you think you are? Let your presence answer, I am the storm, I am the force, I am the one who decided. This is your moment. Not to impress, not to compete, but to become. You don't need another quote. You don't need another motivation. You need a line in the sand. Draw it, step over it, and never look back. This is the last time you'll ask for permission. The last time you'll wonder if you're worthy. The last time you'll wait for the stars to align. The moment you've been waiting for. It's now. It was never about waiting for the right time, the perfect conditions, or the big break. It was about the moment you chose to believe. Believe in yourself. Believe in your power. Believe that no obstacle, no setback, no failure can take that away. Now is the time to start taking massive action. Now is the time to say, I am no longer a spectator in my own life. You've been given everything you need. The power to change. The clarity to see. The discipline to do. The resilience to keep going. What are you waiting for? The world has seen those who wait for permission fall by the wayside. But it has also seen those who decide, those who step up, those who act, those who rise, become legends. You are not average. You are not small. You are not weak. You are a force of nature. You are a king. You are a queen. You are unstoppable. So step into it, now. This is the moment where you declare victory over every doubt, every fear, every setback. You claim your place in history, you claim your life, and you make it yours. The world doesn't need another wishful thinker. It needs people like you, people who step out, people who decide, people who become. This is your time. You are unstoppable. And remember this, you become unstoppable not because you never fail, but because you refuse to quit. The storm lunges will come, but so will your strength, so will your resolve, so will your willpower. You'll look at adversity and smile, knowing that every battle you face only brings you closer to the unstoppable force you were always meant to be. Now go. Declare your victory. Live your purpose, and never stop. Not now, not ever.